Welcome back to another Blender video. So in this video, we will talk about the Compositor editor here. I've already opened the Compositor here on the left corner. So the first thing that I need you to do is next to the shader, you will find this arrow drop down. Go to Compositor and set it as always. Now, why is compositing useful? If you go to the view layers here, you will find different AOVs. You have diffuse lighting, glossy lighting, transmission, volume, etc. So these layers get together and make a nice image. And if you're working on a studio, the editing department or the compositing department will require you to separate these layers. For example, if you have an object in the scene which has a light around it, to create the glowy effect of it, the editing or the compositing department may need this emission separated. So let's get into it. On the Compositor editor, hit Shift A and you will find separate menus. We are looking for the input first of all. In the input, go to Scenes and Render Layer. This is the paste node where all the layers are stacked in. If I turn on emission here, you will find the output of the image right here. And then what we're looking for is the weaver. You can find it in the output or you can just type weave. And then we are looking for Compositor. Let's connect these two. Since you watched the last video and you have no browser turned on, you can hold Shift, right mouse button and just drag it. This will make a connection which will make our work easier. So why are there two nodes for the output? The weaver is just for the weave here and the Compositor is for the final output of the render. So for example, if you want something to be weaved on the weaver only and you don't want to have it on the Compositor, for example, ambient occlusion is really strong in the weaver and it's much less strong and accurate in the Compositor. So you can have ambient occlusion lowered on the weaver and higher on the Compositor. So talking about ambient occlusion, let's work with ambient occlusion first of all. Under the weave layers, under other, you will find ambient occlusion, set it on. Now what I want you to do is add a mix color node. Let's drop it here. Everything is destroyed. Let's fix that. Go to AO and connect AO to the B section. And under mixing, set it to multiply and set the value to 0.7. Now these are tested values. Of course, you can go ahead, test with the numbers and see what works for you. So as I mentioned before, in the weaver, it's really aggressive. And if I go to render, as you can see, it's not really super strong in the Compositor, but it's super strong in the weaver here. So we're not gonna do the whole thing that I explained here. Let's move on to another effect called bloom. Let's turn down the ambient occlusion so we can see the scene better. Now bloom is a little shine around strong light. It gives the impression of a memory, an early morning scene. So on the strength, this is the strength of it. And size is how big the glow is. If you have a lower value, you can really see it happening. So the next thing that we're going to add is a sharpener. Let's go sharpening and diamond sharpening. Now this is really aggressive. It's not just aggressive on the weaver, it's also aggressive on the Compositor. I usually set this to 0.1. And then we have nodes like color balance and curves, but this is kind of as far as we will go. And one more thing that I forgot is to mention the lens distortion. This is an effect that gives you the effects of a real world lens. You can have radial, which will give you a radial effect, or you can have dispersion turned on, which will separate the reds and blues and add it to a radial value. But what I like to do is have it on horizontal and have the dispersion value to around 0.1 or 0.2. So it gives a nice effect. And then we see another issue here. So we don't have alphas anymore. So what we can do to fix it is hit Shift A, set alpha. And under set alpha, you find the alpha here. Bring it all the way to alpha. And there we go. It's all fixed. This is happening because of the lens distortion. I haven't really seen any other node destroy the alpha like that, but if it happens, you can always use set alpha. So there you go. If you hit Shift A, you will find so many nodes, filters, color, even denoising is here. So there you go, the basics of Blender. So what's next? Blender has a really large community. So if you're starting out with 3D, there's always someone who's made a video of what you are looking for. For example, if you want to be a modeler, there are so many courses out there. If you can't afford courses, you have YouTube. Same as what I'm doing here. And there is no end to what you can do in Blender because Blender is ever more developing and the future videos will be not structured like this one. There may be modeling videos, animation, geonodes. There are so many things to cover in Blender. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button because I will kind of randomly upload videos. So see you guys in the next video. Until that, have a good one.